Hold up.
Every day I wake up.
Wake your ass up.
The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. What's up, Mimi?
What's up? Good morning, y'all. How you doing?
Hey, Mimi.
Good morning. All right, so let's start with news out of Chicago this morning where officials are bracing for a major federal immigration enforcement operation that could begin as soon as this week. Now, over the weekend, the city's mayor, Brandon Johnson, signed an executive order making it clear that Chicago police will not participate in federal immigration raids. Let's listen to what he had to say.
This order affirms that the Chicago Police Department will not collaborate with military personnel on police patrols or civil immigration enforcement. This order affirms the CPD officers will be directed to wear CPD uniforms and refrain from wearing masks so that residents can clearly distinguish them from federal agents. We do not want to see tanks in our streets. We do not want to see families ripped apart. We do not want grandmothers thrown into the back of unmarked vans. We don't want to see homeless Chicagoans harassed or disappeared by federal agents. We don't want to see Chicagoans arrested for sitting on their porch. That's not who we are as a city, and that's not who we are as a nation.
So, question, is there a difference between federal immigration officers and ICE? Or isn't I thought ICE was federal immigration officers.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And no local law enforcement across the country is joining in with ICE, right? Everybody's basically saying ICE, you on your own. No, or are local enforcement helping?
I'm glad you asked that because that's what's coming up next. Because Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, she confirmed this weekend on Face the Nation that the Trump administration plans to expand those ICE operations and that they are working with some local cities and governments. And let's listen to what Kristi Noem had to say.
I think there's a lot of cities that are dealing with crime and violence right now, and so we haven't taken anything off the table. We've been making sure that we have the resources and the equipment to go in. We've been working to partner with every single agency that we can. We have hundreds and hundreds of agreements with local law enforcement, sheriffs, city administrators and mayors across the country that want to solve problems. I'd encourage every single big city, San Francisco, Boston, Chicago, whatever they are, if they want to help make their cities safer, more prosperous, allow people the opportunity to walk in freedom like the people of Washington, D.C. are now, and enjoying going out to eat at night and not having to worry if they're going to be a victim of a carjacking or a robbery, they should call us because we will work with anybody and do what we can to make sure that we're upholding our Constitution, upholding the law, but making sure their families are safe.
So President Trump has repeatedly criticized Chicago's leadership about the rising violence. And despite reports that there's a 21% drop in overall violent crime and a 32% drop in homicides this year, but over the holiday weekend, this Labor Day holiday weekend, 48 people were shot, 8 fought fatally across Chicago. And so President Trump is using that. He posted on Truth Social that 24 people were shot in Chicago last weekend. I'm not even talking about this weekend. And J.B. Pritzker, who is a governor, says he doesn't need help fighting crime. Trump calls him crazy and says he better straighten it out before they get there.
It feels like they want to do in Chicago what they did in D.C., but now they are turning this to an ICE issue. So which is it? Is it an immigration issue or a crime issue? Are they conflating the two?
I think they're conflating the two for sure. And they're going after all major cities. There are reports that Boston may be next, so we shall see. And so while Chicago braces for those federal raids, there are new growing concerns this morning about the administration's impact on the nation's health. So 9 former directors of the CDC are speaking out, and they are warning that political influence from the Trump administration, the Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is putting the nation at risk. In an op-ed published in the New York Times, the former directors whose tenure spanned from 1977 to now, and all who have served under both Republican and Democratic presidents, warned that Kennedy's control of health policy, funding, and research is unlike anything we have ever seen before, unlike anything our country has ever experienced. Their essay cites several alarming key decisions that Kennedy has made under his leadership, including firing thousands of federal health workers, canceling $500 million in mRNA vaccine research, which is COVID-19 research, and removing all 17 members of the CDC's Vaccine Advisory committee, placing them with his own appointees, all of which are vaccine skeptic people who hold those views. Dr. Richard Bessert, he is one of the co-authors of the op-ed and a former acting CDC director. This is what he had to say to ABC News about the changes that he's making.
What is happening at the CDC is not business as usual. This is not just the change of an administration and different priorities. We have a Secretary of Health who is a strong ideologue. He came in as one of the nation's leading anti-vaccine proponents, and he is step by step dismantling an agency that is critical to the health of everyone in America in every single community.
And so this warning is coming after they removed the CDC director, Dr. Susan Montanez, last month after she refused to resign. The White House says she wasn't aligned with their Make America Healthy Again agenda. Now, following her removal, they put in a new senior official, and he is a Silicon Valley investor. His name is Jim O'Neill. And he has, of course, promoted unproven COVID-19 treatments, and he has been named acting CDC director. And so this week, all eyes will be on Capitol Hill as the Health Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy, is scheduled to testify before Congress, where he is expected to face tough questions about his leadership and the growing turmoil inside the CDC.
All right. Well, thank you, Mimi.
You're welcome. And coming up at 7, there are growing concerns this morning about the president's health. We're learning what the White House is saying about that, and we'll talk about that next.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get back in some front page news. What up, Mimi?
What's up, y'all? All right, so there are big changes ahead for former VP Kamala Harris after President Trump abruptly pulled her Secret Service protection. Harris will now be protected by the California Highway Patrol. Now, this move comes after Trump signed an order last week ending her detail as of Monday. Harris had been granted an extension by President Joe Biden through July of 2026. Now, without that extension, her security would have ended just 6 months after leaving office, as it does for every vice president. Now, following the announcement, Governor Gavin Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, they met to discuss Harris's safety at her Los Angeles home. Newsom's office did not confirm details, saying they don't comment on security arrangements, but the governor did release a statement saying the safety of our public officials should never be subject to erratic, vindictive political impulses. Now, the California Highway Patrol, they have a protective service division, which will now handle her security. It's the same specialized unit that protects the governor, other statewide officials, and visiting dignitaries. Now, the timing comes just weeks before Harris begins a 15-stop international book tour to promote her book. It's called 107 Days, which details her 107 days presidential campaign following President Biden's exit from the 2024 race. Now, stops are planned in London, Toronto, and several U.S. cities, but it still remains unclear whether the CHP will protect her beyond California.
Listen,
that's crazy.
I think that's crazy. It's actually ice cold, especially being that, like you said, Mimi, Donald Trump knows she's going on her book tour. But I personally believe that Israeli trained security is some of the best security in the world, if not the best. So I feel like AIPAC should pay for Vice President Kamala Harris' security for all that elected officials have done for Israel, for all that of AIPAC invest in elected officials in our country. I feel like AIPAC should pay for Vice President Kamala Harris's security.
Yeah, for sure. And there's just switching gears a little bit, there are new questions this morning, too, about President Trump's health. I don't know if you guys saw this, but he posted a week-old photo of himself golfing. Now, that happened over the weekend, and then he shared the photo on Truth Social. He posted it of him and NFL coach John Gruden riding, great playing golf with him, a really nice guy, true character. But online users, they quickly pointed out that that photo was taken August 23rd and not the day he said it. He took it this weekend. So that fueled claims that the White House may be trying to manage perceptions about the president's health. Now, this post came after speculation on social media where users noted that Trump hadn't been seen publicly for several days. And by Saturday afternoon, Trump health was the top search topic on Google, and Where is Donald Trump was trending on X. Now, over the weekend, past spectators, they questioned how well Trump may be, and after the persistent bruising was spotted on the back of his hand, and then rumors have further grown since Vice President J.D. Vance, he told USA Today that he was prepared to step in as commander-in-chief should anything happen. He gave that interview. Let's listen to what he had to say during that interview.
The president is in incredibly good health. He's got incredible energy. And while most of the people who work around the President of the United States are younger than he is, I think that we find that he actually is the last person who goes to sleep. He's the last person making phone calls at night, and he's the first person who wakes up and the first person making phone calls in the morning. So yes, things can always happen. Yes, terrible tragedies happen, but I feel very confident the President of the United States is in good shape, is going to serve out the remainder of his term and do great things for the American people. And if, God forbid, there's a terrible tragedy, I can't think of better on-the-job training than what I've gotten over the last 200 days.
So despite all this scrutiny, Trump, of course, he's been active online. He posted dozens of messages on Truth Social over the weekend, including new calls to end mail-in voting, declaring Washington, D.C. as a crime-free zone. He also wrote that he's never felt better in his life. And I checked the White House public schedule. The president is expected to make an announcement this afternoon in the Oval Office at 2 p.m. So I'm sure people will be watching to see him there. And finally, switching gears, while we'll be watching that announcement, I wanted to talk a little bit, Charlamagne, I want to talk about something you were a part of this weekend, the International African American Museum in Charleston. They hosted a free Labor Day event called Vibes on the Yard. And thanks to the Black Effect Podcast Network and Charlamagne, families got free admission to the museum all day.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you tell us a little bit about, I know it was a celebration of culture and there was music and local vendors and the line was wrapped around the building?
Yeah, I mean, when I heard, President Trump, say what he said about the Smithsonian and, just how museums need to be changed to reflect accurate history in America, I was like, well, they already do reflect accurate history in America. And I just started thinking about the International African American Museum, which I am on the board of in Charleston, South Carolina. So, I just hit up Dr. Tanya Matthews, who's the CEO down there, and just, thought about some things that we could do. And I knew that they were having the yard party on Monday. So I'm just like, yo, why don't I sponsor free admission? And so that's what we did. And, a lot of people came out there yesterday. So I hope that they enjoyed themselves. And I hope some people left and became members of the International African American Museum or want to become members. So if you are ever in Charleston, South Carolina, you should go visit the International African American Museum. It is on Gadsden's Wharf, and I forgot the exact number, but damn near half of all enslaved Africans who came in America came through that port where the museum is built. So you should definitely go visit.
Yeah, I saw that. It was 40% of enslaved Africans arrived at that port, Charlotte. So very, very interesting. And then they're also doing a Road to 500,000 campaign, which they want to welcome 500,000 visitors by the end of 2025. So
yes, indeed.
Go ahead.
No, I said yes, indeed. So please go to IAAmuseum.org for more information on the International African American Museum, man. Beautiful, beautiful facility it is.
Absolutely. Check that out. All right, y'all. Well, thank you. That is your front page news. I'm Mimi Brown. Follow me on social at Mimi Brown TV. And for more coverage, follow the Black Information Network or download the free iHeartRadio app and visit BINnews.com.
Thank you, Mimi.
Thank you, Mimi.
Thank you.
All right. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.
All right.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.